Hello and welcome to another episode of TFG Indian Football Roundup presented by Rayor, who are now the official kitting and merchandise partner of FC Goa. FC Goa are doing pretty well in Durand Cup right now. They're top of their group and their Durand Heist kit looks pretty awesome. You can go get that on rayorsports.com. If you are an FC Goa fan, this one is gonna be one that you wanna collect. Beautiful design. Gokulam Kerala FC also came out with this awesome away kit that pays homage to this all-women stand that Calicut Stadium used to have. Indian clubs are getting very innovative with their jersey designs these days. And I'm loving how these services teams in Durand Cup are actually giving the I-League clubs, the ISL clubs, a proper run for their money. We've got so many talented players in these teams, but just because they are amateurs, they are not allowed to take part in I-League or ISL, and they're not able to realize their dreams to become an Indian national team player. It's a tragedy really, and something that should be looked at. Maybe we can find a middle path. Maybe we can have a system where Santosh Trophy players can directly get a few spots at the Indian national team and try out, because you want to have your talent pool as wide and big as possible. Why just limit it to ISL or I-League or even the state leagues? Tournaments like Durand Cup, IFA Shield, CFL, they really let you know how thin the margin is between professionals and so-called amateurs who have chosen job security over a career in a professional club. I would like nothing more than be able to talk to you for a whole hour about the impact this professional amateur divide has on a developing footballing nation like India. But unfortunately, we have to deal with something that is developing in one of the clubs in Kolkata at Mohun Bagan, and it's not the most pleasant subject matter to talk about. It's been over a year that we have done an episode centered on Mohun Bagan, and last time the atmosphere was quite upbeat. The team's logo and jerseys had come out. The new brand name ATK Mohun Bagan FC had also been unveiled, and I was talking to another Mohun Bagan fan on the podcast, and everybody seemed to be hopeful about what the future was going to bring them. A lot has happened since then. If you read the fangarage.com, you would have kept track of the number of times where KGSPL, which is Kolkata Games and Sports Private Limited, the company which has done the deal with Mohun Bagan to acquire majority shares in their football division, how the way they present the team, their branding strategy, and an ever-evolving narrative around the identity of this team, how all that has run afoul of what the fans want to see reflected on this team. And there has been a lot of back and forth, some protests, a lot of online trends, some retractions, some apathy. I'm sure there's also been some heated exchanges of words behind the scenes. And basically, the whole situation had snowballed into a state of affairs where we have a large chunk of Mohun Bagan fans, which includes the vast majority of fan groups, all coming together and demanding, quote unquote, remove ATK or break the merger. Basically, they want KGSPL to change the branding of ATK Mohun Bagan FC, which is removing the ATK prefix and declaring it to be officially a continuation of Mohun Bagan, which has gone on since 1889, or they want KGSPL to leave the club. They want that deal to be broken. In the past, these kind of demands were mostly limited to online discourse. We have seen a couple of protests, in-person protests that were organized by one or two fan groups. It was not a coordinated effort among different fan groups. It was just independent expressions of dissent. What's different now is that a forum has emerged of Mohun Bagan supporters and members who want to launch a united front to achieve their goal. And of course, there are 1,000 logistical questions that arise with this. What happens if KGSPL leaves? Does Mohun Bagan play in ISL? ISL franchisee slot is with KGSPL. Will Mohun Bagan be able to get another investor if they lose KGSPL? Will they be able to put together a team or get the budget to play in ISL independently. There are 1,000 questions and not many answers right now, and mostly what we have seen is Mohun Bagan fans venting their emotions and their distress at what they see as insults to their club's identity, history, and heritage being hurled at by the majority shareholders of their own football team. A number of fan clubs are boycotting ATK Mohun Bagan's matches, and some are actually just calling all Mariners to reject this team. They don't see it as Mohun Bagan, they claim. This is, of course, not a situation that any well wisher of Mohun Bagan or Indian football wants to persist, but Mohun Bagan fans seem to want to see this till the end. Of course, if you're observing this from the outside, what you must have noticed is that there is a lot of chaos in this discourse. As you expect with football fans, especially the fans of Mohun Bagan and East Bengal, they use a lot of harsh words when they make their points. Things get personal. There's a lot of crosstalk, arguments that you see on online platforms, the typical hallmark of a decentralized fan base that's not being driven by a singular leadership, and it's going through its own process to arrive at a consensus. And it's not very easy to shift through all that chatter to find the heart of the argument and really understand what's going on within this fan base. So we thought we would do what we did in the previous episode, which was to talk to one particular fan in detail and provide that fan who is well informed about what's happening with an unlimited space, no time limit, no censorship to express their views. That way, when you're listening to the whole argument that's coming out from them, it helps you leave with a much fuller perspective of all that's happening in this issue. And it can also make you understand where things are going and what possible paths of solution that can emerge from this chaos. So today we will be talking to somebody who is associated with the Mariners Base Camp, which is a ultras movement that is backed by a number of Mohun Bagan fan groups. This Mohun Bagan fan has been in it since the beginning and experienced closely the many periods of unrest, success, and failure that the Mariners have gone through in the last couple of decades. His name is Prasenjit Sarkar, and he is an active supporter of this remove ATK or break the merger movement that we are seeing right now. Of course, I too happen to be a Mohun Bagan fan, but while interviewing him, I try to present the arguments that come against this movement and try to allow him enough time without interruption to make his case. Let's jump into the conversation. Okay, just to begin with, Prashanjit, why do you want the deal between Mohun Bagan and KGSPL to come to an end? Or is that an end goal, or is there still an opportunity for compromise going forward?
First of all, it's not only me who wants the merger to break as soon as possible between Mohun Bagan and KGSPL, because it's a universal demand from the Mariners. The last 1.5 year has been a period of utter humiliation for the Mariners. We have been humiliated in every way possible. The club, Mohun Bagan, which we consider to be our motherly institution, that same motherly institution have been repeatedly abused, humiliated in every way possible. So I think it's not only me who wants the merger to break immediately. All the Mariners want the same thing. If a person is by heart a true Mariner, he cannot go ahead with this entity or this merged entity, whatever it is. We just want our Mohun Bagan Athletic Club back with that same institution. We have won so many glories in the recent past. In the last 5 or 6 years, we have won the I League twice, the Fed Cup once, the Kolkata Football League once. With that, we want the same Mohun Bagan Athletic Club back, not this entity. We don't consider it to be Mohun Bagan, and there is no
Okay.
way or no scope for any compromise.
Hypothetically speaking, if KGSPL comes out and says that this team is a continuation of Mohun Bagan, removes the ATK prefix, and starts to properly reflect the Mohun Bagan history on its social media handles on its website and other outlets. Does that allow for a situation where the fans allow this deal to continue?
Well, that depends. That depends on a few things. First of all, only mayor promises won't do. They have to show us that they mean it. That they also believe that it is the continuation of Mohun Bagan Athletic Club. Right now, the way they are running the merged entity, it's not the continuation of Mohun Bagan. Rather, it seems like they want to, continue the ego ATK, just putting it ahead of Mohun Bagan, which is a 133 years old institution. So if they want it, this associations to continue, first of all, they have to change their social media team. That is one of our demands, and the responsibility has responsibility to run all the social media platforms has to be given to you know a team which understands the sentiment, the values, the ethos of Mohun Bagan and the Mariners. Secondly, not only the social media, pretending just posting a few contents on social media and pretending that it is a continuation of Mohun Bagan, that won't serve the purpose completely. They have to participate in all the tournaments that Mohun Bagan Athletic Club's football team used to participate in, just like Kolkata Football League, Durand Cup, Federation Cup. Whenever these tournaments are being organized by their organizing bodies, this team has to participate in this. Right now, what they're doing, they're only playing ISL, and even in AFC Cup, the way they are, this team, this merged entity is playing right now. But the way the management is, talking, just like I can draw example of the recent made comments by one of the board of directors, Mr. Usha Parekh, the way he said that audacity that Mohun Bagan never got to play in AFC Cup. This person, these people, they don't have single bit of idea about the contribution of Mohun Bagan and East Bengal, both these two clubs in Indian football, what these two clubs have done, especially Mohun Bagan, a 133 years old institution, they don't have a little bit of idea. So this management, we strongly feel if Mr. Sanjeev Goenka and his KGSPL want this association to continue, they have to bring in people. Uh, uh, we also think their appointed CEO, Mr. Raghu Iyer, he's a complete worthless fellow. He has to bring in some people who understand Indian football, who has knowledge about Indian football, and they understand the values and the glorious past of Mohun Bagan, and they will respect that past, the glorious history, and will try to continue that same in the future.
Yeah, so let's take it point by point. You talked about the CFL participation, and just going by what Utsav Parekh said in that same interview that you referred to, he was saying that this time there is an issue with maintaining a bubble, and next season there will be a larger squad, which will allow Mohun Bagan or ATK Mohun Bagan to participate in multiple tournaments at the same time. So, do you see this as a issue that is caused by the ongoing pandemic, or is there something else to it?
No, we don't think. What we think that they are only making excuses. Talking about playing the tournament, they had a reserve team when only ATK as a entity they continued for the last 6 seasons. They were playing in the ISL. They had a reserve team, and it participated in the Kolkata Football League. So we don't think that issue has arisen just because of the pandemic or this COVID situation. They are only making excuses. They just want to make their, do their business and all. What we think at this point of time, they only take the Mariners as customers. They want us to give them business, nothing else. They have run their so-called franchise football team for the last 6 seasons. They invested crores. Yes, they became three-time ISL champions. But as far as we know, the from the information we have got from the public domain, that up to 2017-18 season, the loss they have faced was huge. So they were completely bleeding money. It was not only Mohun Bagan's decision to go ahead with them with hand in hand. We were yes, we were desperate to get an investor or sponsor to participate in the ISL, but they were also desperate because they were bleeding money. So we don't think it's an issue regarding pandemic only. They just want to do their business. They know very well that this season they won't get anything out of the gate sale. So participating in all the other tournaments won't be much beneficial for them. So they are only participating in ISL because from that tournament they will be making money from different other sources apart from the gate sale, and they have to play in the AFC because Mohun Bagan already qualified and earned that slot after becoming the champion of the 2020 I League. So they're bound to play AFC just because they're doing so.
Okay, so just talking about the business side as you brought it up, it was not just KGSPL who wanted to get into business with Mohun Bagan. Mohun Bagan were also looking for an investor, and for quite some time, I remember you guys were doing movements against the officials of Mohun Bagan Athletic Club, even going back to 2017, 2018. You were demanding actually a corporate investor to come in and take over the football team. Right.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
then in the situation that they were facing, and a lot of claims have been made in this regard that there's a dearth of investors in Indian football at that time. Somebody like KGSPL is willing to make an association with Mohun Bagan, which is going to get Mohun Bagan into ISL and get them a bigger budget than they have ever had before, and get them that platform basically. Right. So
Yeah.
this has happened, and within 1 year we are seeing a situation where the fans are rejecting this. Does it concern you that it's going to label Mohun Bagan in the future that this is an unmanageable institution, and the fans are averse to corporate interests coming in and investing?
See, I don't think it's entirely true with the Mariners and and Mohun Bagan Athletic Club. Yes, we have been demanding for a corporatization of our football entity for a long time. See, we have been playing without a title sponsor. I think for the last 7 8 season, I guess, after McDowell went out of business and went out of club. So since then, we have been without a title sponsor. I'm right. Correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong. So
Yeah, that's it's since
yeah, but
2015, I think
yeah,
2016, sorry.
yeah. So I guess our officials they deserve some credit on ground of that they in spite of not having a title sponsor or an investor, they continue to build a good team which gave us results in the last 5 6 years. We have I've already mentioned we have won several tournaments, won the I League twice, Fed Cup once, Kolkata Football League once. So in spite of that, we were continuously demanding for a title sponsor because since the last 5 6 7 seasons, we were facing troubles every day. Whenever we are, in the morning, we are opening the newspaper and reading in the sports section. We could see some news that are regarding the, due payments. Players are not receiving their due payments. Players are expressing their anxiety regarding the situation in the economic situation of the club. So there was a kind of a situation always that made us anxious regarding the the economic crisis that we were facing. So we wanted a complete corporatization of the club. We wanted to make sure that our team is run well. Our players will receive their payments on time, but we never wanted to merge with another club. So if you go back to last 2 3 years back during the AGM of Mohun Athletic Club, there that at that point of time the the assistant general secretary back then, who is now the general secretary of Mohun Athletic Club, and also the economic secretary, both of them they committed repeatedly that we are not going to. There is a huge pressure on us to merge with ATK. The FSDL wants us to merge with ATK and play in the tournament ISL, but we don't want to merge with ATK just because if we merge with ATK, they said on camera during one of the AGMs that if we merge with ATK, we won't be Mohun Bagan anymore. we will be something, but not Mohun Bagan. But in spite of saying that same thing repeatedly in multiple occasions, once in the AGM, in multiple occasions in front of different media houses, they finally merged and joined hands with Mr. Sanjeev Goenka and Mr. Paris Kolkata Gangster Sports Private Limited and announced the merger back in the beginning of 2020. So it was quite unexpected for us. From the very beginning, we the Mariners have been very much anxious and conspicuous about it because we couldn't make out that if this going to work in future. First of all, from the very beginning, there was a atmosphere of uncertainty from the very beginning, from the very inception. Just because we knew this is not a sponsorship we are getting, or it's not an investor that is coming into our club. It's a different franchise who had a football team which has been playing in a certain tournament for the last 6 seasons. They have been winning the same tournament. They have been crown champions for three seasons. So this is not a sponsor or investor. Although our officials who represent Mohun Bagan Athletic Club in the deal, they tried to make us believe. Uh, Still, they're trying. I would say that this is a uh, investor or this is a sponsorship that we have got. We are going to get it, going to get to play in the Indian Super League, and on multiple occasions, they have told us that this ATK is a dead entity. Just wait for some time, at least 1 or 2 seasons. This ATK will be removed. Only Mohun Bagan will be there, and this is the continuation of Mohun Bagan. I don't see in a single occasion since the merger took place where Mr. Sanjeev Goenka or Mr. Utsav Parekh or any other stakeholders from Kolkata Games and Sports Private Limited saying that this is a continuation of Mohun Bagan. They said many things. That Mohun Bagan is a huge institution, ATK is a kid in front of Mohun Bagan and all. But even they draw an example of their forefathers who have been supporting Mohun Bagan for years. But not a single occasion they have said that this is the continuation of Mohun Bagan only. Only our officials who are representing Mohun Bagan Athletic Club in the deal, I take their name, Mr. Sinjoy Bosch and Devashish Dotto, they continue to, you know, tell us that this is the continuation of Mohun Bagan and in future ATK will be removed, only Mohun Bagan will be there.
Do
So
you, I
what
mean,
we
because I
think is
have
a blatant
never,
lie on behalf of them.
yeah,
It's a blatant lie, and they have worked on it very well. But for now, till now, but right now, the way the things have been going, we don't believe them at all. What we want right now is to from them is to break this merger as soon as possible. From where they will get the money to buy out the footballing rights of Mohun Bagan Athletic Club. That is their concern. But we just want them to come out and act and break this merger, and we want them to get a new investor or sponsor, not any merger anymore in future. Get an investor or sponsor within a stipulated time, and make sure that we'll be playing in the top tier league of Indian football, nothing else.
okay. So you said that Devashish Dotto and Srinjoy Bose have said that in the future ATK will be removed and only Mohan Bagan will stay there. I have not found that quote anywhere on public domain or
No, you won't
some
find it.
other.
You don't
Uh,
find it because
okay.
they have been spreading these lies uh, themselves and with the help of their so-called bootlickers inside the club and outside. Whenever we try to contact them in the past, they have told us these things. They won't be commenting these things in front of the camera because that won't be legal, na?
Yeah.
If they say these kind of things in front of the camera, that will we don't know what is there in the clauses or what is there in the contract. They never showed it to even to the executive committee members, as far as I know. Only they know what is there in the contract. So say it's commenting something like this won't be legal, I guess. So they never made their comments public like this comments like this public. Whenever we went to them, we contacted them. They said this kind of thing. Just hold on. have patience, have faith on us. We will be, in due time, ATK will be removed and Mohun Bagan will be there and all. But the way it has been going since the inception of the merger, I guess even you will agree with me from the very beginning that that abusive advertisement of which featured one of the board of directors, Shourav Ganguly, putting Mohun Bagan and ATK jersey in a washing machine, and what comes out is a jersey which bears the logo of ATK Mohun Bagan and all. That is completely, utterly humiliating from the beginning. And the way their social media is acting, the website, newly launched website, I guess it's not launched yet, but the website is there, it's live, and it's completely showing that this entity has started its journey from 2020. So what we will consider that Mohun Bagan is a club which is founded on in the year 2020, not 1889. And in multiple occasions, we have those clippings with us, where you will see not only Mr. Utshav Parekh is saying, also Mr. Devashish Dotto is saying that this club has started its journey from 2020, not 1889. So there are legal obligations in writing. It has been founded in the year 1889. So in the beginning, before the merger, they lied. During the merger, after the merger took place, they lied, and right now their blatant lie has been exposed to us. As much as we hold Mr. Utshav Parekh, Mr. Sanjeev Goenka accountable, or Raghu Iyer accountable for whatever going on or whatever comments they have made, we hold Mr. Devashish Dotto and Sinjoy Bose way more accountable than them, because they have made this mess. They are the people who have put us in this mess. So they have to get us out of it.
Okay, so then the next question that people who have been critical of this movement, this remove ATK or break the merger movement, is that what were you doing when the deal was announced, and what were you doing for one whole year when all this has been happening? What is prompting the action now and not before?
We have been vocal about the scenario, or the kind of issues we have been facing since last 1.5 year.
Hmm.
Due to the COVID pandemic, we were not able to make it vocal, or demonstrate our protest the way we want to, or the way we are capable of. Yes, few times we have made demonstrations publicly in front of the club, or even in front of the Victoria House, which is the office of Mr. Sanjeev Goenka. I guess the thing is, right now, you are asking that what prompted to this outburst right now. I
Hmm.
guess there every situation in every situation there is a level um, after which you will consider that is enough. The cup is full to the brim. So right now, for us, for the Mariners, it is enough. We have suffered enough humiliation, enough abuse. We have actually suffered. So what we think right now, this is the time. It's now or never. We have to be vocal. If we consider, if any Mariner, if he consider himself to be a Mohun Bagani or a Mariner, it is the time to be vocal, and it is the time to demand only one thing. We just removing ATK won't suffice. Either they have to agree with all our conditions if they want to move forward this association. Otherwise, right now, what we demand is break this merger. It has been enough of humiliation. That is our demand, I guess. And right now, I guess the scenario has changed quite a lot. People are going outside, trains are moving, buses are moving, so there won't be any issue if we organize a public protest. So we are doing so. I guess today is also, as we are talking, there is a press conference going on, where Mariners have organized a press conference in the Press Club of Kolkata, and they are actually declaring our agendas regard the protest of this the agendas of this protest in front of the media. And on 12th, we are hitting the streets. there is no division as some of the bootlickers uh, of our club officials. They are trying to. We know very well they are spreading propaganda that there is a division between mariners regarding this. Some organizing protests, some are organizing a press conference, but not coming together. That is completely wrong. It's a lie. It's a propaganda that is being spread, and it is being directed by our officials. We know that. So they won't succeed. Mariners are organizing this press conference today, and the same Mariners will be hitting the streets on 12th, the coming Sunday. We will be
Okay.
demonstrating, and we'll be very much vocal. And rest of the plans we are not disclosing what we'll do on 12th. You will see when it happens.
Okay, so there is a long-term action plan in place from the Mohun Bagan fans to make sure that the investors, KGSPL and Mohun Bagan officials have to pay attention to the demands of these fans. Is that so?
Yeah, exactly. As we are hitting the street, we have already drawn a roadmap of our protest. Until and unless we achieve our goal, our target is fixed. That is break the merger. Until
Okay.
we achieve that, until we hit that objective, we will be vocal and we will be doing this kind of protests, which will be both online and offline. We'll continue to do it.
Yeah, so one thing Utsav Parekh pointed to when he was asked about the Remove ATK movement, as a counterpoint to it, he was using the justification that the team is playing really well and they're doing well in AFC Cup and they're ambitious, which ultimately is a contrast to the attitude shown by Mohun Bagan Athletic Club officials in the past towards AFC Cup. You know, Devashish Dotto
Mm.
famously said that we're not taking AFC
Pause.
Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
taking it seriously. I think the assistant coach of Mohun Bagan also went to Maldives, and in the post match press conference, he was saying that, oh, we are sending our second team. Our focus is on I League. We're not taking AFC Cup very seriously. So this is a contrast that we are seeing now. That the team is actually trying to beat Nasaf and try to win the AFC Cup, however you want to put it. So how do you respond to that? That perspective that because KGSPL and this new administration is putting in a lot more effort into trying to succeed in an international tournaments that we have not seen in the past.
Well, yes, the actions of the Mohun Bagan Athletic Club officials, they have to take the blame or the responsibility for what they have done in the past, what they have said in the past. I don't hold the assistant coach or the support staffs accountable for that because they have been saying whatever they have been asked to say by the officials, I guess. So, uh, we all know very well how they used to run the football team in the last 5 6 seasons because before this merger took place, the footballers were contracted only for, I guess, tournaments, not for a season long. They were not handed over a season long contract, I guess. uh,
January to May.
yeah.
It used to be 5 month contracts.
Yes, and within those 5 months they could only play the I League and the Kolkata League, or if the domestic tournaments were organized, then they could have taken part in that, but not the AFC tournaments because the timeline of the AFC tournament that was beyond their contract. So
Hmm.
without those key players, they knew very well if they face those big names on the Asian front, they will be facing defeats and they will be facing humiliations. So, in order to suppress their failure, they tried to put it in a way that they were very much bothered about winning the National League title, I League title, and they are not focusing on the AFC and all. So that was their game. It was not that we couldn't understand what they're doing or the game they were playing. We understood it back then, but you know, as long as the team performed well in the local tournaments or in the national league, there won't be many supporters who will be vocal because uh, Indian football fans, actually uh, they don't focus. What I personally believe, even before 3 to 4 seasons, they never actually focused on the Asian level. We were very much bothered about winning the National League. We haven't won the National League title before 2015. I guess there was 13 years gap. So after
Yeah.
13 years, we won the I League or the National League title in 2015, and that created, a kind of that gave the officials, the club officials, and their bootlickers, a section of Mohun Bagan supporters who are their bootlickers, I'd say, and oxygen to spread their version of the story, spread their propaganda that they are focusing on these tournaments, and they actually try to cover up their failure by saying all these things. But when it comes to KGSPL, what you are saying, that there is a change of attitude uh, uh, between between them and the officials now. So see, the officials who represent Mohun Bagan Athletic Club's football division in this merger are the same people, and suddenly, people cannot change all of a sudden, right? The same Devashish Datta who said, we are not taking AFC tournament seriously. The same Devashish Datta suddenly started saying that we have merged with ATK just because we want to do some good in the Asian front. See, first of all, uh, the thing is, ISL wasn't considered the top tier league from its inception. ISL
Mm.
has been the top tier league only since the last season.
Yeah.
So in the last
2019.
season, yeah, 2019. So in the last season, I guess 2019 2020 season, I'm talking about. ISL playing ATK, they became champions. I League playing Mohun Bagan, they also became champions. So,
Mm.
but the AFC Cup slot, in which this merged entities team is playing right now, that AFC Cup slot is, is earned by Mohun Bagan's winning
Yeah.
after winning the I League in 2019-2020 season. So the change you are saying, uh, it is, uh, what we consider uh, when Utsav Parekh made those comments. He never said कि Mohun Bagan is playing, or we are playing this tournament to to add to the glory of Mohun Bagan. What he said instead, that we are playing this tournament. Mohun Bagan in past couldn't play this tournament so well and win. That is completely, his lack of knowledge, that he doesn't know about Mohun Bagan's contribution, or whatever Mohun Bagan achieved in a uh, Asian front. But what he said was not about Mohun Bagan playing in IFC tournament.
Mm.
What he said, that was ATK Mohun Bagan playing in playing in AFC Cup, and what he said about Mohun Bagan was completely humiliating. He said on multiple times in that interview that Mohun Bagan, with in his own capacity, couldn't play AFC tournaments and win the way the ATK Mohun Bagan is doing in the tournament. So by saying this thing, he, in the same interview, he actually made it clear that Mohun Bagan and ATK Mohun Bagan is not the same thing. He made it very clear for us, and he made it easy for us to be more vocal about it. Because till now, whenever we are protesting, we are organizing any protest, some of our own some own Mariners community members, they were saying, say, why you are creating a nuisance and all. The team is doing well. This is our own team. It's wearing green and maroon jersey. The logo bears the sailing boat. This is Mohun Bagan. They were trying to make it look like. But the way their social media team performed, their actions, the way the key officials like Utsav Parekh and in multiple occasions, Mr. Sanjeev Goenka himself reacted to few questions from the media. That made us clear for us this it can be anything but not Mohun Bagan. So right now we
Hmm.
are very much clear that this entity that is playing, which has the name Mohun Bagan added to it, but it's not Mohun Bagan. It's a new entity. It is not the continuation of Mohun Bagan that they were trying to project it to be, or our own officials trying to project it to be, because we don't think that since the very beginning, Mr. Sanjeev Goenka or Utsav Parekh, anybody from KGSPL has said that this is going to be a continuation of Mohun Bagan and Mohun Bagan only. Only our officials, not in the public domain, but during personal conversations, said and try to assure us that this is the continuation of Mohun Bagan and ATK won't be there in 1 or 2 seasons. Just have your patience. But we know right now we know very well that that was a blatant lie, and what we understood since last 1.5 year that our own officials, they don't have much power left in their hand, because they have said in past that they are Mariners first and officials second. So if they're Mariners first, if they could see that what kind of humiliations our club is motherly club is facing, why they couldn't react? Because they both of them are there, no, in the board of directors. They're the members of the board of directors. Why they couldn't react? They cannot react because they don't have that say. They don't have enough power to react. So we don't want to continue in an association where Mohun Bagan is secondary or Mohun Bagan is not with power. Mohun Bagan is, and should be at the top of the Indian football circuit because of its contributions, because of its rich history. Mohun Bagan should be at the top, and Mohun Bagan should be able to. Mohun Bagan officials should be able to be vocal about their club, their institution, and should be able to vocal on behalf of the Mariners. They are not. So we don't want this association to last furthermore.
Okay. So one last point that I want to present from the other camps who are saying that this team is playing in AFC Cup right now. The players at least deserve some backing because they're trying to do something that has not been done many times. Like I think the last time an Indian club defeated a Central Asian club was back in 2006, and they will try to do that on 22nd September. What is your response to that? Because as fan clubs, all of your, I think, the entire existence of all the fan clubs, they've always been there for the players, is it not? Like at least
See, Chiranjit,
they, yeah.
uh, yeah, but see, Chiranjit, since this merger came into existence, the team had a few names who had a past history with Mohun Bagan Athletic Club's football division. Players like
Mm,
Pritam Kotal, Pranay Haldar, Shubhashish, players, these Probit Dash, these players, these Bengali boys, they started their journey or played for Mohun Bagan in past, and they started their journey from this club, and they became famous, and then they went to the ISL and started playing for ATK, I guess. So having these players back in a team which bears the name Mohun Bagan, which is ATK Mohun Bagan, in the beginning we all, it worked for us like we are getting our boys back, our homegrown boys back. As much confused as we were, we tried to believe from the very beginning. We are not so adamant, we are not demanding ATK to be removed, or we are not demanding from the very beginning, we are not demanding for the demerger or the break the merger or anything. But in the beginning, as much confused as we were, we tried to make this team our own. We tried to believe that this is our own team which is playing. This is our Mohun Bagan. But the way they all, the entire thing was being run till now, as we are talking, the way this entire process is being run, that made us believe that this is not the continuation of Mohun Bagan. Even if you take example of the players, see how the this management is treating them. In the last season, I guess you could recall, there was one interview uh, that was aired by ATK Mohun Bagan FC social media handle, where we could see Pritam, Pronoy, and Shubhashish. They were talking in between themselves and reminiscing their experiences with Mohun Bagan, how they dreamt about playing this glorious club in their during their childhood days, during their academy days, and when that dream was materialized, what was their feeling and all, and what is their feeling again when they are coming back to the same club. So I know very well this interview was not planned. I don't want to disclose any names over here, but I know very well this interview was not planned by the social media team of ATK Mohun Bagan FC, or not planned by the CEO or anybody. This was completely planned by those players who are in heart Mariners, actually. Because as Bengali, we are when we are born, we are either Mohun Bagan or East Bengal. These players, these Bengali boys, they also have emotions for these two clubs, and we are very lucky to have these names with us. As we felt in the beginning, they also tried their best to make us believe that this entity will work, and this will be a continuation of Mohun Bagan. I guess they are also facing the same crisis right now. As you can see that many of them have already been loaned to other clubs or been released. And I know very well some of our own Bengali boys whose contract will be ending in the next season, and they have not been offered a fresh contract till now as we are talking. So
Mm.
what this management is doing, they are actually silently, releasing these players who are carrying the sentiment of Mohun Bagan and Mohun Bagan only. They know very well that they cannot extract that sentiment out of these guys, these boys. So what they are doing very silently and very cleverly, they are in the process of releasing these guys without offering them a new contract or loaning these guys to some other club. They don't want them in this entity just because they know having them with us will ultimately enable us, or it will give us more power to be vocal, because we will feel, we will know that these boys also support us, the players also support us. They
Mm.
are in heart also Mariners. So they are doing the same thing, this management. So what we think right now, that they are in a process of removing, or deleting the glory or whatever that that constitutes Mohun Bagan, the sentiment, Mohun Bagani sentiment. They are in a process of deleting that. You could also draw the example of the recent uh, social media post by Ashutosh Mehta. I guess
Mm.
we all know Ashutosh Mehta has been a key player during our 2020 I League victory. So Ashutosh posted one picture from him. He's playing during that season for us, and he made his social media cover, and where behind in the gallery in the stand, there was a banner that respect our heritage, glory, and tradition and history. So the management immediately called him up, and asked him to take that post down. What could be the reason? We know very well Ashutosh cannot just come out and say that he have been asked to do so by the management, but we know very well what is the reason behind it. What can be the reason? Why he has been asked to, take down a content like that? That was not a word of protest. We can a
Yeah.
mariner can ask a mariner can simply put a banner and ask anybody, or give anybody a message that we deserve respect. That is not wrong. So
Mm.
just because of that, he has been forced to take that content down. So these are few examples from which we can come to the conclusion how this management looks at us. What is their view? of Mohun Bagan and Mariners. So we don't feel that there is much respect for us, for our motherly institution in this alliance. So where there is no respect, no alliance can continue.
A big thank you from us to Prasenjit for making the case for this movement elaborately. If I'm being honest, personally, as a Mohun Bagan fan, I have had some big dreams about the Mohun Bagan KGSPL deal. I truly respect the KGSPL administration as a group of able professionals who are passionate about Indian football, but it doesn't really make sense to me why they have made an alliance with Mohun Bagan and they are also asking Mohun Bagan fans to support the team, yet they are trying to portray this team as not Mohun Bagan. As a fan, that's a basic contradiction to me. Mohun Bagan fans are going to support that team if they see the team as Mohun Bagan, right? And you are not going to change that. Utsav Parekh, whose name came up in the interview, on 12th July 2020, he had said in an online show that within 6 months to 1 year, we're not gonna have Mohun Bagan or ATK fans. We're gonna have ATK Mohun Bagan fans. Well, this is September 2021. It's been more than a year, and the fact that we are having the discussion that we're having shows that the kind of brand seeding that he wanted to do, the non corporate term for which is brainwashing, that has not succeeded. I don't know what kind of financial or business sense KGSPL see in trying to corrupt Mohun Bagan's identity. But as a fan, the choice that I see them facing is pretty clear. They have a deal with Mohun Bagan officials, which was signed without getting a consensus from members and officials first, but that does not guarantee them loyalty from the Mariners. Mariners are loyal to Mohun Bagan, that's not going to change. They're not loyal to players or trophies or officials. They are loyal to Mohun Bagan. So if KGSPL want Mohun Bagan fans to support them, the only way they can achieve that is by being Mohun Bagan. They have to show that they love the club and represent the club as honestly, fully, and unequivocally as the fans themselves. And if they're not able to do that, I don't think they will be able to win Mohun Bagan fans over. I know a lot of officials and other people from the corporate side of Indian football are saying this is a minority thing that's gonna subside. Well, they have been saying that for over a year now. It has not subsided, it has grown. I think the time for reckoning has come. These fans have been supporting Mohun Bagan all their lives, and that's what they're gonna do. They're not gonna change and they're not gonna go away. So the choice is simple. If you're gonna be with Mohun Bagan, be Mohun Bagan. Otherwise, do your own thing. And personally, I don't think this team's identity is set in stone. We have seen retractions and changes so many times. They tried to call this team the defending champions of ISL, and that just disappeared out of the blue when the Mohun Bagan fans pushed back to it. The controversial third kit was also withdrawn, and the ATK Mohun Bagan management did come out and issue an apology or retraction or whatever you call it of the comments that Utsav Parekh made. So brand identity is reversible. The fans' loyalty is not. I don't know if that's what KGSPL want or if this complicated solution will be solved immediately if they remove the prefix and make the necessary corrections to the team's identity. Trust once lost takes time to rebuild. But given how many times Mohun Bagan officials have faced criticism and then later been forgiven, I still don't see this situation as completely beyond repair. But who knows, I may be wrong. This is just one person's opinion. Ask any player when they make a mistake and they feel the Mohun Bagan fans getting angry at them. It's one of the worst feelings in the world. It's like you're alone and you're being hunted by a mob of millions. But later on, in a different game, when that same player scores a goal or gets an assist or makes a brilliant save, that same player becomes the king of the world. with a million people rushing in to fall at his feet. Mohun Bagan fans do forgive people. What they don't is switch their loyalty to an entity that's being presented as not Mohun Bagan. Thank you for listening. The next episode hopefully will be about football and not the drama around it. Hopefully we're going to be able to talk at length about CFL, Durand Cup and possibly even SAF Championship. I look forward to a day when these kind of episodes will no longer be necessary. Goodbye.